Tell Igor. I'll take to Jiskaji Sasha. Da. That was a good one, huh?
Thanks so much.
Maybe you didn't think quite as well when I first told you to go, huh?
I know I understand.
Beneficial, right? Because the topic is so serious.
No, it is. It's applicable to every area. I mean, if you want to really do something, you need to know how to build a system.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Was it helpful?
I'm fresh.
Code knows how to code has a way of keeping you alert.
Also, I need to ask your permission for something afterwards.
Okay.
I need to do something with your book, and I need to take
Okay. All right. Or otherwise, what you could do also is to tell one of the boys that you need to see me so they could book an appointment for you. You leave tomorrow too? You are the losers. Yeah, he's not the only one leaving. The other guy is leaving too. It's a pity. Ujef Klushili? Okay. Okay, guys. I hope people are coming together already, no? Let me see. Okay, everybody, we are welcoming people on the Facebook. While we are waiting for you guys, we are also waiting for the people here so that we could start again. This is a very, very serious topic we are addressing. And I can't afford to talk on this important topic with people not being 100% alert. It's so important. It's so important. So, if you are there at home, go and share the link as fast as possible. Get your friends to come and join us. Let's move fast. Brace yourself. Get yourself ready. And I bet you will need 100% concentration because I've just spoken on one slide. And there are 35 of them. So get yourself ready. Brace yourself. Get coffee if you are here. Get coffee. For coffee will help you from sleeping. Get that coffee and get yourself alert as much as possible. Yeah, help yourself. Help yourself. Help yourself. Because you will need it. You will need it. You will need to survive for as long as possible. You will need to survive for as long as possible. Actually, maybe you need to stay with me for about 2 weeks or 2 months. Huh? You are not afraid of me, that? Because for me to give you just this teaching alone on system, I need a week. If I want to really make you understand it. If I just want to rush through it, then I can do it in 2 hours. But for you to get it, you might need a week. That's why I cannot do it by live broadcast. It's just not going to work. It's too difficult to, without seeing people. I don't see their concentration level. It's like a waste of time. All right, guys, take your coffee, take your seat. What is Shade thinking in her mind about me? That is a crazy guy, huh? Sent us to the cold, huh? Sent us to... Sent you to the cold. Oh, not so crazy after all. Thinking what? Why do you think it will be helpful to you? Ah, okay. And the stereotypes and the...
I think whenever you have a plan, these are things that just put you off from completing it.
I can't, whenever I think of Christians just sitting down in churches. People are just being wasted. Sad. It's sad. Because we could have been achieving, so much. Mystical. Yeah. Yeah, from... Huh? Okay, while we're waiting for everybody to come, I need you to comment, because that is where I teach. I cannot teach you just be a lonely speaker or just be like one-way road. I need to know what's going on in your mind. I need to know what you are getting. Yes, please. Where is the microphone? Okay. So any other person that needs to contribute immediately, let's move forward. Let's come out so that immediately he finishes, we come. I need to know what's going on in your mind. I need to know what you heard and what you didn't hear. Because that is important before I go on.
Yes. I happened to be talking with Sister Caroline. And then it got to a stage where it just popped on my mind. But this is in the Bible. let there be light. This is, illumination, things we didn't see before. Yes. Now we can see. So just consistent scripture.
But you are not a stupid guy. You finished as one of the top university students in Ghana, right? In your university.
Yes.
Were you good?
Yes, economic students.
In what university?
University of Science and Technology. It's a premier university in Ghana.
And you are one of the top students there?
Yes.
In economics, so you knew mathematics, you studied a little bit of that. And now you are a professor, you are a lecturer in the university in the UK.
Yes.
Okay. So as a lecturer, you are not stupid. But you see, that's what I said, that we have professors in university who don't know some of these things we're talking about today. So that's why, I have graduates from Harvard University, Harvard in America, who have studied there, finished there, taught there, who come here and they said we've never heard or experienced what we experience here, even after Harvard. Yeah.
So true.
So,
thank you very much.
Do you think that your experience here and these things we are talking about, even this principle, how do you get this principle today? This particular one slide that I was able to explain.
I can now look at my life and see that if I do things that successful people are doing like you, then I can expect to get somewhere close to what you are.
Brilliant. Brilliant. So life becomes predictable to anybody. Either you are in Africa or you are in Europe. If you know the laws and the principle that has been applied by another person who has done that life becomes predictable to me. So how would you then explain the paradox of all our churches being full of people?
I think we're doing most churches, I don't want to generalize, I think most churches are doing religion and not Christianity, because we are not being relevant on earth, but we're just trying to use God. I think having listened to you over some of the videos and teachings you've done, it's so clear. We can see the immensity of ignorance.
So we are going to churches from morning to night, appealing to God and begging God to do one thing or the other for us. Whereas people who have understood this principle I'm talking about, that life is understandable. Wait, don't complicate things. Let's put 1 and 2 together. And let's understand. It's just like saying we have problem of flood. And people study what is responsible for that flood. What is the land, situation or that particular situation, landscape or something. And then let's build a dam there. So instead of the flood killing people, let's build a dam and build a bridge and, put a road and then even turn that flood to electricity to benefit for us. But what we ignorant people, they don't just fast and pray. They go and call the God of, the God of the river, the God of the sea, the God of this, and begin to beg some God, or even God Almighty, or Jesus, and fast and pray, and wait for change to come. When we could have, that's why we need principles. And that's why we need mathematics. Now you got what I talk about mathematics and science, because that science is what helps us to understand nature. It is what helps us to dissect and understand what has gone wrong. Why is the rain, when the rain that is coming, how can we redirect it? How can we redirect the force of nature? How can we rule and manage over it as the managers of the earth? As the Lord of the earth, exercise dominion over that flood. But you will not be able to do that if you don't know that life is based on laws and principles. Laws and principles that you put in place will allow you to understand what to do to checkmate the power of that flood and stop the destruction and the killing, and then convert that catastrophe, that disaster, into creative energy and force. Such are things that are happening to us on a daily basis as well. Such must be the reaction and the attitude and the response. If we understand that God is not wicked. He didn't just send us here without any laws or without any people, without anything, without understanding, just darkness, just so that you will be at the mercy of him. He's not a wicked God. And so pastors and preachers and religious people, we think we are doing good to people by telling them that you cannot do anything. You are harmless. You are helpless. Only God can help. Only God can do this. Only God can help. You cannot do anything. We think we are doing a good job. We think we are helping people. We think we are being kind. We think we are being nice. But we are actually making people blind. We are depriving people of their strength and power that is being given to them by God. We are not telling them the truth. We are not letting them know that there is a rule there, there is a law there, there is a principle there that you can find, and you can be in charge. You can be the Lord over that situation. You can be the king over that situation. You can rule over it. And such is every situation in life as well. That's why things work in developed countries and things don't work in underdeveloped countries. So you say, oh, these people don't believe in God. Oh, these British people or these English people or these Europeans don't believe in God. We don't know which one is better yet, my dear. Because thank God they don't believe. So that we can at least survive and live here on earth. Even though they will go to heaven. They will go to hell. But at least they make us live here on earth. But we that believe so much that we have become so irrelevant that we don't contribute. So that's what you are what you are taking from this, that a lot of what we are doing is just religion. Because Christianity doesn't, it's not Christianity. Christianity is God who created and put all these laws there. That's Christianity. God didn't put us in ignorance. He wants us to discover. He said, my people are perished for lack of knowledge. He doesn't want us to be in lack of knowledge. He said, I'm the light of the world. Knowledge is light. He is the God of light. He delights in us walking in the light, not in ignorance. And those principles are light. He said, in fact, himself is the light. He is the word that was in God in the beginning. He said he is light and there is no shadow of darkness with him. And that's why he knows solution to everything, because it's light. Light is solution. Light is illumination, understanding in all things. So it's not confused at all. Anytime we don't know what to do, that's darkness. And since we are not children of darkness, we should be striving for light. Thank you. Ruben.
I think that this session is just so fundamental and so key, because we know that life is created by design and not by accident. We know that, therefore, great marriages and great businesses are built by design and not by chance. We so many times say, like, this guy was so lucky. Or there was a chance. Or this guy just achieved it. Or that great artist, they're just lucky. Right? But we don't see the years of experience that they put in, the nights that they study. And I think it's just so important that, churches tell us, oh, just wait on the Lord. Just keep staying still. Lord will come. Lord will fight your battles. But if we don't move, he cannot move through us. God gave us dominion to subdue this earth and look after this earth, because he's looking after the heavens. And therefore, we're not busy staying still and waiting on the Lord, but he cannot move through us if we're not moving. And I think it's just so important in each of our lives. If we don't do anything, God cannot work through us, because he is limiting himself through us, through our ability and capability to move and achieve things. And I think, to me, that is just so impacting and so powerful, because I know that I need to do more and not just wait on the Lord in each moment, but I have to take action, because the harder I work, the luckier I get. God will be able to work through me because I'm doing something, because I'm his hands and feet.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
This message is so powerful to me because I know I've always been called. I know I've been called to media, and my heart is to do. My big plan is to basically build television networks, media networks that will promote Christian values, and that will then tie in with my husband's vision, which is to propagate the gospel and build institutions that will empower people in the media and send them out and saturate the market. And I mean, today I've learned a massive lesson. Even I think yesterday's lesson, which Pastor Sunday said, when you mentioned, just need to remember. Yeah, no, it's when you mentioned that. Yes, when you mentioned that, don't look at the don't. It takes the same effort to build a small thing than to build a big thing. So this is something that I said that I will be doing maybe several years later, and I'll focus on building maybe a small plan and a small project until I get the confidence or to do something as big as that. But now I know, based on this, I've booked my place, my spot in the library. I'm gonna be there until I get this plan fulfilled and build the strategies and put it on paper. So yeah.
But how long have you been hearing about Pastor Sunday?
A long time. I think maybe 3 years.
And you never thought that your destiny could be in the hand of that man you've been hearing of for years? You never considered coming to find out?
It wasn't. It was like I heard you, and then maybe I would be like intrigued, but I didn't even know there wasn't much content at the time online, I don't think. Mm-hmm. But then when it came as present, I was like, no, this person has the answer. There's no point. I can't. I know the truth is overseas, so I must go here and get this truth.
Can you imagine how many people still in England are just cramming them churches, the buildings, waiting for something? And they could be helped. People could get help. Thank you. All right. If nobody else wants to say anything, then we'll continue. Okay. Yeah.
That'll be slide 3. Next slide. Okay. 2 important things in this life. Number 1, know what you need for success. Number 2, be ready to pay the price for this success.
Please read it one below.
There are no failures in this world. There are only those who either don't know the principles of success, or they do know but are not willing to pay the price.
That is the statement I con out for my teachings. And I want you to remember that statement, that quotation, that there are no failures in life. Everybody can succeed. That's what it means. There is nobody that is guaranteed failure. And there is nobody that is supposed to fail by design. Nobody is supposed to fail by design. Everybody is created to succeed, actually. So why do we fail? Why do we have to what's the word? Not submit ourselves. Was it retire ourselves, or what is it? Was it? Yeah, another word. Why do we have to resign ourselves? Huh? Yeah, resign ourselves to fate. Yeah, why do we have to resign ourselves to destiny, fate? I'm sorry for you religious people and Christians. Why do we have to resign ourselves to God's mercy or even miracles? Or the will of God or miracles? Or whatever will be, will be. What? Yes. So why should we have to resign ourselves to that when God made life to operate and to function by design? So what thing, if you forget everything you've come to learn this week here, that statement, you shouldn't forget it. There are no failures in life. Okay, it's written separately. You know, it was all written in Russian. They translated them to English. So let me say it to you the way I would say it in my own language, English. There are no failures in life. There are only those who don't know the laws of success, or who don't know the principles of success, or they are not willing to pay the price of success, the price that success demands. So failure, therefore, is explainable. Failure is as a result of ignorance, because they don't know means ignorance. Failure is either as a result of ignorance or as a result of not knowing the right things to know. You might know some things, but they might not be applicable in this situation. So there are no failures in life. Those people, therefore, they are only those who don't know the laws of success, or who know but are not willing to discipline themselves, subject themselves to those laws, and pay the price that success demands of them. So how does that relate to us? The ability to build systems depends only on one thing: on discovering what particular laws, principles, are responsible for that aspect of life that I want to invest myself in? What particular laws are responsible for that area of life that I want to explore? What are the laws and principles that function or that make that thing function? I need to discover the laws and the principles that are responsible for that aspect of life, that make things to go around in that place, that are responsible for the success in that area. If I will know the laws and the principles upon which that aspect of life is based to work, if I will understand the laws and principles that God established that area of life upon to function, then I need to pay the price to apply those same laws so that I might create the same thing. For example, if I see somebody who became successful, extremely successful in business, or who is just rich and wealthy, became a millionaire, it used to be that we used to think that God blessed him, or he was lucky, like Reuben said. But you know what? Times of ignorance are long past. It's time to begin to think with your head. And the real thing is that if there are some results, it means there are some effects. I mean, if there are some effects, there are some costs for it. So cause and effect. If I'm seeing anything, any result, it's because there are reasons for it. There are explanation for it. So for anything you see, for any success you see, there are explanations. And explanations are normally laws that are responsible. So if I see anybody that is successful, extremely wealthy, I should not just say God bless him, as if God doesn't bless you. So you just make God biased right there. And you just accuse God of being biased and hypocritical right there. So who are you to point accusing fingers at God? It's not that God is biased. It's not that God blessed him and he didn't bless you. It's because that person knows something that maybe you don't know or you don't care to apply. He's doing something right. So therefore, what makes life predictable? What makes life predictable is that, and the principle of life is the predictable is this, that you know that if he is successful and he's so successful, there are reasons why. And there are principles behind it. So the best thing to do is to go pay the price to discover those principles or to learn those principles. And once I've learned those principles, now I must discipline myself to go through the rules, the process that the person has gone through to attain the success that he has. The same thing in industrialization of a country or in transformation of a nation. The same thing in political development, economical development. I must be able to discipline myself to and I'm happy for Davida. Davida has come and I want to do the same thing. I want to be able to do the same thing like Pastor Derek is doing. I want to go back and begin to do this training, this kind of trainings also for other people. Brilliant. Just find out how the principles and the laws and the materials of everything, discipline yourself to be able to do it. Other people are doing them in other places. Why not? Because this is the model that will work. Because it's not just about the information that you are hearing here, but the discipline, the lifestyle of HMT. The ability to teach people to live a lifestyle of intensity, productivity, converting every minute into values. That is HMT. That's why it's so intense. It's to teach you to live that lifestyle on a daily basis. So, life is predictable means anything that you want to attain, you can. Based on what principles, on what are the conditions? And if I say anything you want to attain in life or achieve in life, you can achieve. What are the two conditions?
Knowing the right laws and principles.
What?
Knowing the right laws and principles.
One by one.
And applying them.
And being disciplined to apply them. Brilliant. Now, what is the contrast to that in our churches today? What is the contrast to this concept? What's the contrast? The parallel of it?
Depending on
No, generally, in general church body.
dependence on
Huh? Just pray. Leave it to God's hand. Huh? Leave it to God. God's hand. How will you assess that now? How will you people assess that? How will you assess that? How will you measure that now? What will you say about that now? Is that not ignorance? Is that not ignorance? You don't think it's ignorance? He's done everything from his part. He even died. He's done everything on his part. Yeah. Miracle should be an exception.
Part of the problem is the church doesn't know that life is ruled by principle and laws.
The church doesn't know.
I don't think they know.
So what do you think the church knows?
Only to fast and pray and wait on God until God comes to help us out.
You said they don't know that life is...
I don't think they know that, because I've said it before. I said all these successful people, why are they being successful? When you read about them or you study about them, you know that they're following laws, the law that God has created, the law of life. And that's why they're successful. But we that were carrying the Bible, we're not even following the laws. Or we don't know the laws.
No, you just said something that the church might not be aware that life is predictable. Life is based on laws and principles.
They're not.
If we don't know that, so that could be the explanation why
The church are
we are
like
not doing what we are supposed to be doing.
Yes, sir.
So if that is the case, what do we then think that life is dependent on? Huh? Huh?
On God solving our problems.
Yes.
So we think that God has to take decisions in every particular situation. He has to come and be deciding everything, or what?
Pastor, I think part of this ignorance now makes a pastor to want to defend certain things by saying, in case of this river, Ogun may have done something. River Ogun has done something, and then they want to start looking for a way of justifying that.
No, the pastors don't believe in the rivers, do they?
Oh, well, but they will say our ancestors would have done something, and so you cannot separate those two things. There are things that have to be done so that will stop. And then you start thinking, is this...
They have to be done scientifically. Why not?
Well, but they're not talking scientific, because that will be part of the principle, which will be right.
Yes.
So sometimes you start thinking, are we really having occult people as pastors? Because if you have to go back to tradition, then your mind starts questioning, especially if you're a scientist, questioning, I thought I've come out from that darkness. Why is somebody taking me back there? What has Ogun got to do with this?
But why do you say sometimes we think? I might think that a lot of the things that we call Christianity now is more occultic.
That's what I've just said, yeah.
And superstition.
Yeah. And that
We are using the same principles as the occultic world.
Yes.
We are using the same principle as the occultic world and superstitious principles.
Because I don't know why I should
we don't
go back
even
to
know.
Ogun.
Yes. Because we are acting just like them.
Yes.
Because they give the same explanations that the fathers have done something or something has been.
So when it now comes from the pulpits, you start questioning yourself, especially if you know scripture. And that brings a lot of confusion, because why am I going back to Ogun? Who is Ogun? What has Ogun River got to do with this? What has ancestors got to do with this? And when such scriptures start coming from pulpits, it's like going backwards, but it's dragging people back to deliverance so that money will come to the pulpit.
Okay.
Because all of a sudden, everywhere is
Deliverance.
taking you back to that which says deliverance. You have to know. You cannot run away from this. And that is where the darkness comes into church.
But it's still the same occultism.
Yeah.
My view is that the church actually are aware that their principles, because we hear people teaching them in specific areas. You might, some might teach financial principles. But what I think people haven't done, is they haven't researched and they haven't gone deep to establish it as okay, this is a law. This is, applicable. It's something you can replicate. So people haven't taken it to another level. Yeah. There was something else that was coming to my mind, but I can't just remember now. Yeah. So I think Pastor Sunday has established, he's established in this. He's taking it to another level, yeah. And I think the church also has kept away from this area because unbelievers have discovered it, or maybe even the church discovered it and the unbelievers
Took it over,
and then the Christians don't want to seem carnal. They don't, so there's a conflict in most Christians actually.
How can you be carnal about what God created?
Yeah, they don't relate it to that. I mean, yeah, so there's a deception and there's something going on in the minds.
That we only have to be spiritual, right?
They work on the spiritual side of things, but they've left the
Natural.
material. Yeah, and from what you're saying, we need to bring both together now.
I was going to say and ask a question as well. You might have heard this phrase or this quote that 99% of labor without 1% of favor will result in futility, won't get any results. So even if there are elements of the church that know and believe that and probably teach that yes, there are principles and that if we apply those same principles, we will get results. But there's still something at the back of our minds that still says, yeah, we can do all we can, but except God decides, you still won't get blessed. So I don't know how you want to respond to that.
I have a whole 1.5 hours teaching on that phrase. 99, what do you call it? 100? Yes, I have something like that. That 1 day of favor is better than 1,000. I don't know how it was called in the video, but it's one of my series. I address that totally. So, yes.
Amen. I think one of the problem of the church is that we are always learning. Christian people always love to learn, but they don't like if you read the last sentence, it said, but are not willing to pay the price. Christians will learn a lot, but the issue is that we are not willing to pay the price. Like in the days of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, I begin to wonder if they were the only people that knows God in their time. But I believe when a lot of people saw the fire, they drifted back. But those people, they were ready to pay the price. So one of the things that I'm seeing here is like most of us, we came to this HMT. There are a lot of talks that this is what I'm going to do. But before you know, when we get to our
Closer
countries
to the
or
microphone.
okay, then we fall back, we relax. So the issue here, from what I'm saying, is going to pay the price.
Does somebody have only God can save Nigeria here?
Yes.
Yes, let me just use this. You see, hearing what we are saying, what's coming to my mind is that we are dealing with a value system in the church. The church, as an entity, has its own culture that we must accept. That this is a culture that the church has promoted, and many of us who have grown and been bred are through the church, because every culture promotes its own cultural values. Now, to change that culture means that we must introduce a new value system. That is going to affect and undo the existing what? Culture. So it's the reason why if you've read this book already, when I had an opportunity to talk about it, my argument was that this book is specifically meant to deal with the existing culture in the church. The culture of it's the will of God. The culture of everything has to be prayed about. Even where we must take action, we must still pray. Because it's a culture that we have created. Now, part of that culture also promotes the issue of a dichotomy between what we call secular and then what we think is sacred, is spiritual. And as a result of that, that causes us to be in the situation we find ourselves in. So we are going to have to deal with that culture. So this book is addressing specifically that mindset within the church. It has to break that existing culture so as to be the way the rest of the other people are. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So now, what you should remember is this. Set yourself free from that religious, superstitious mindset. And I don't know if any one of you just could take up the challenge. Is there anything we could do to help the church?
Yes.
Not just ourselves, but to help the church in general. What did you say?
That's why we're here.
Huh?
We go back to our churches and implement what we learn.
What did you say? Okay. Okay.
We may not be able to influence the older ones.
Yeah. There might even be some pastors that when they hear this, that don't mind that pastor. He doesn't know what
He's not spiritual.
he has even backslided.
Oh, okay. Okay. But I hope you got it. God doesn't want you to be at his mercy. Please. You are painting a bad picture about God. I mean, it is wickedness for me to have food in the fridge, to have the cook or the cooker there, to have the plate there, to have the fork and the all those things there, and the food, everything is there. And then I tell my children that you have to come and take my permission, that you cannot eat in this house until you come and get my permission. And you are grown-up children. They say, but you are not at home, father or mother. You know, I was hungry. Yes, you still cannot. Wait till I come before you can eat. That's the kind of image, that's the kind of impression we are creating with this kind of thing. The normal thing for a father, like God, would have been that, well, you know where the plate is. You know where the food is. The fork and the knife. Put it together. That is what we're talking about. Like laws and principles, there are those fork, plate, food. Those are the things. The ingredients and the instruments, he provided. He's a good God, though. He's a kind God, he's a good God, considerate God. Even before the needs occurred, he had provided for the answers and solutions in nature. He packaged everything perfect before we even appeared here. And he said them in a way that we could be able to address our situations. So it's either because we don't know or we are too lazy to go and get that food from the fridge. See. You want to say something? What was it? Say it. You are okay? I should go ahead? Okay. Next point.
If you study the laws which great people used to achieve their success and apply them, you too can achieve outstanding results.
You got it. You got that already. I think I made that point across. Yeah.
And a quote by Newton says,
Isaac Newton.
Isaac Newton says, genius is the mind's patience, focused on the known direction.
Is that complex to understand? No? Who said no? Yes, it's complex to understand. Let's go back to that. What this is talking about is that nobody really is born a genius. And the person who is saying this is Isaac Newton, one of the greatest minds that have ever lived. So that way, Isaac Newton is trying to tell us that he's not regarded or seen as a genius because he was born a genius. So there were things that he did that brought out his geniusity or ingenuity. That's why I have all these great people here. So that all my students and my members who come here to be trained by me will know that they are not worse than all these men. That all these people who are not genius by God. We were thinking that these people were just given by God to the earth. But I want to let them know that no, they made themselves genius. And that's what Isaac Newton is saying here. That genius is not what is born or sent from heaven. You know what genius is or genius? I don't know if this is the accurate interpretation in English. I mean, if this is the way it was in the original. If this is the way Isaac Newton said it originally or not. Because it doesn't look English. It doesn't sound English. Okay, please. Please look for anybody. Let all of us try to look for Isaac Newton's quotation that talks about concentration or genius or thought. Как по-русски это? That's all. That's all. What about the fullness of it?
На русском это звучало так, что гениальность это сосредоточение ума в заданном направлении или сосредоточенная мысль в заданном направлении.
Место, наверное. Хорошо. Поищите параллельный английский не перевод, а сосредоточенность мысли в заданном направлении. Can you find it? Can anybody find anything from Isaac Newton that reminds you of this? Because, like I said, all this was in Russian language. I translated it, so I told them to translate it. So I don't know how it sounds in English anymore.
Genius is the patient of thoughts concentrated in a certain direction.
Oh, very good. That's it. That's it. That's English. So we have to change this then. Is there any way to change it now, or it's too late? It's too late now. It's not. We cannot do it so fast. Okay. Okay, just a minute. Thank you for finding it. Say it again.
Genius is the patient of thought concentrated in a
is the patience of thought.
Yes. Concentrated in a certain direction.
Pastor Natasha Vitam, Pașlite votetul praia necesitat, Caronis, чтобы она послала человеку, который английский эту книгу концентрации, гениальность, концентрации, чтобы основали на правильном это самое. So what is this talking about? Pamugite Ribiatam 92 left. What is this talking about? Genius is the patience of thought concentrated in a certain direction. Powerful. Let me explain that to you. Or do you people get it already? No. Okay. Okay. This means that genius is not born. All the ingenuities, they don't just come from heaven. So geniuses are not born. Geniuses are not born. Genius is not something that comes by some wishful thinking or prayers or some magical wang. Miracle. It's not a miracle. So what is genius? Everything genius that is born, every ingenuity that is created, how are they come across? I have a whole book on this phrase. A whole book on this phrase. It's called How to Become a Genius. Genius, you can become a genius. Genius, therefore, is the ability to concentrate your mind. Focus your mind in a given direction for as long as possible. I don't know if you got that. That's what it means. The ability to work on one particular subject or one particular thing, research it, deep into it, dig into it, go for as long as possible. The longer you could concentrate and focus on the research or the perfection of an idea or working on something, that is it. That is what brings you to discover something that no other human being has done. That is the key to genius. That's a law right there. So research. So that thing you have said, Ushe, that your theory from those African ministers, pastors, who are, I'm sorry, who are misguided by ignorance. But that statement, one day of favor is better than 1,000 years of work, of labor, it's not just misguided. It is destructive. It is misguided, destructive, and it is against the law of nature. It is conflicting with the order of God. And it's a demonstration of ignorance. God will not change his order. Even though miracles are also part of his order and his plan. But possibilities of miracle is only 2% of human existence. Only 2%. Only exceptions. Exceptions only. They shouldn't be turned to the rule. So for anybody to think that, okay, I am the one who is going to discover the cure for cancer, having thought on the subject for 2 hours. Why some people have been studying the subject for 30 years. Who has the better chance to discover it? Of course. Even if God comes from heaven and tells you this is the way to cure it, you will not even know what to do because you don't even know the terms. You don't even know the things to bring together. You don't even know what he's talking about. You don't know the science behind it. So that's what he's saying, that genius or discovery or ingenuity will only come as a result of long-term concentration. That's what's called patience of thought. Thought. Everything comes from here. Ability to be able to invest your mind in concentrated work. So the person who is able to discipline himself, okay, you are all looking at me now, right, Pastor Sunday, and you are thinking, this guy is a genius. You know the reason why? Because when I was in the university, I told you the story. Every day, I would sit 6 hours, discipline myself, force myself to sit down and study self-education for 6 years straight. Every single day from Monday to Friday, I will not live there. Even if I feel like sleeping, I will put my head and sleep for 5 minutes and keep on working. The one who is able to stretch himself more is mine. Is the one who has better results. No wonder about it. No going about it. That's what it is. Genius is the patience of thought concentrated in a certain direction. You have to choose a certain direction where you concentrate or focus your mind to investigate, to research for as long as possible. So the one who investigates or invests his mind for 2 hours to study about money, the loss of money just for 2 hours. It's just like saying you listen to my message for 1 hour and you said you are good, you are good. And somebody is going to listen to that for like 100 times. Who is going to be better? That's genius. Genius is hard work, my guys. Okay, let's continue.
Understanding systems. System is what helps us to have a definite result that is stable, predictable, automatic. Systems reproduce themselves.
So the good thing about system is this, is that since you know, okay, for example, let me show you what is a system. Like this iPad now, do you all know that do you know that any one of us could actually reproduce this iPad? Or at least reassemble it? Do you know there are people all around us who are assembling computers? Who are not IBM or Microsoft or just people who schooled, who learn it. Why? They just learn it. Why is it that apart from the company that produced this product, there are other individuals who are also able to assemble it? Why? Because they open it up, disassembled it, learn how everything is placed, then packaged it or studied it. They studied the principles, the laws, and just put it back together. So what is that saying? That is a system. System makes things predictable. System makes things reproducible. Systems make things to be stable and to work in a way that it could be is self-functioning. So what we're saying is that once you know the laws behind anything, just like this iPad now, once you know the laws, the way it is arranged, everything, the laws and the principles, where what is supposed to be, that means you know the laws and the principles, then it is possible to reassemble it the way it was. So life becomes predictable when you are aware of the laws that are responsible for its existence or its functionality. Okay. Why is it that we have medicine? Medicine as a science is only as a result of what I'm telling you now, as a result of the predictability of life. Because why medicine as a science is based on the fact that people discovered, there was a time that medical doctors, people were thinking that you cannot be trained to be a doctor. People were thinking that it is only God. God gives doctors. God creates doctors. God sends them here. So if you are not by God assembled in heaven to be a doctor, And you have to be taught by God himself. Oh. And the reason why they used to think like that is because there was no school, there was no educational system, and people who were doctors were self-taught people. So because they were self-taught, no other person possessed the knowledge. But later on, when humanity came to the understanding of this principle I'm talking about, that everything is based on laws, that changed. They started assembling and recording the knowledge of the people who were self-educated and started training other people and say, oh, it could be duplicated. That is how everything is. So why is it that we have science, medicine today as a science? Because somebody had studied how human body functions. And the more we study, that's why when people die, we still call them and do autopsy and this. Why? Because we want to know better and understand how everything functions, so that we could now fix it when anything goes wrong in the body of any living organism. Oh, life is predictable. And hence we have medicine. Life is predictable, hence somebody could fix your teeth. Life is predictable, hence somebody could fix your eyes. Life is predictable, hence somebody could fix your pain. Life is predictable because they have studied how they take, just like people study how the iPad functions and able to reassemble it. That's how they study how human body functions and able to fix it. That is the reason, that's the explanation. So in schools, unfortunately, we tell our children go to school and study mathematics, biology, but we don't know what it's talking about. If people had known that actually biology and everything is because this is for me to know everything about the body of somebody and to be able to fix it, they would have a different attitude to that science. If people had known that mathematics really is the same principle, and the combination of biology and mathematics is what makes me to dissect and to be able to calculate and be able to come up with a formula, it will be easier for them. And if they know that physics is like that too, is what makes me to know about everything any mechanical thing, and with mathematics, that is what makes me to know what is behind the functionality of anything, what is behind the functioning of any object. Mathematics helps me to discern and to calculate and to be able to study why this thing works like this. And once I can understand the laws and the principles behind that thing functioning like that, that's what mathematics and science and chemistry helps me to do, to be able to dissect it so that I will be able to rearrange it. So that is why we study science and all that. So if I am able to know the laws that are responsible for anything or behind anything, I will be able to fix it or be able to create something parallel or similar. So that is why we say everything in life is based on one law or the other. There is nothing mystical if it is on earth. God intentionally did it like that. So everything could be, if we don't know something is wrong, we have not discovered the laws behind it or the explanation why it functions like that. So that's why we say if there is anything where we're failing or anybody who fails, we can only fail because we have not understood the laws or we have not disciplined ourselves to apply that law. Are you following me? So life is predictable because once we know the laws that are behind that thing, then we could create something similar. Not just repair, like with the medicine, we repair. But with man, we have not been able to recreate man. Why? Because we are still so limited. We cannot even reproduce eyes. We cannot even reproduce a lot of things. You know, when somebody tells you and says, we are doctor of medicine, there's nothing like doctor of medicine. You have to ask him, what area, what part of medicine? What specialize? Even when he says, gynecology or something, we say, what specialization? Because we are too small still in discovery. Or when somebody comes to you and say, I'm professor of mathematics, na lie. It's not possible. There is nobody who is a professor of anything. Because if he says, professor of mathematics, you ask him, what area of mathematics? You say algebra. What the section of algebra? We are so small compared to God. So that's why it's foolish to even question God. Even if we gather all the medical professors of the earth and give them just one assignment. You know what assignment? The assignment, for example, of just eye. Just let's find solution to eye so that there will be no blindness or there will be no losing of sight. If the whole professorship and the all medical institutes of the world only study that, we will still not be able to get that. We will not be able to fix it. We are too small. So the things that we are doing are rather just very surface. There are so many other things to still invest in. There are still so many other things to discover. What I'm saying is that there is so much place to grow and to develop in. So, but we have made a lot of progress. Let me tell you what is this that I'm saying now. System is when we discover laws that are behind something, then we can reproduce that thing. The reason why we have cars today is because men studied. Why is it that men, we human beings, can only run as fast? But why is it that horses and animals run faster than men? That is that's why when people talk about cars, they talk about horsepower. Have you ever heard the word horsepower? It's because people were studying the mechanisms behind the power and the speed of horses. So that is what motivated man to come in and say, then let's study this thing. So what makes them to now discover the laws of the speed and the laws of the mechanism of building car are the ability to apply physics, mathematics, biology, dissect horse and the force behind them and their race and the energy and how they overcome gravity and all that, and say, oh, we can reproduce those same mechanisms that 1 + 1 is 2, but 1 is 2, this is the speed, this is our, and create our own artificial mechanism of the same horse power. That is how we came across cars and all the moving objects. So through yeah, and plane is because by studying birds. So by saying, okay, why is it that we cannot fly, but other objects are flying? What are the laws behind it? That's why we need physics and chemistry and all that about to stop. So by the time you dissect that, you see the laws that are working in there, then you could reproduce it. That's what makes life predictable. So if we can do it with planes, we can do it with cars. That's why we can do it with economy. We can do it with hospitals. We can do. So if anybody ever cure this thing, that's why cholera has gone. That's why other things are being cured. That's why we have all this. Why? Because if anybody ever did it, let's just find out the law, the principle that one. So how can we still be living in this 21st century where we have already designed that through understanding of laws and principles, things like planes, submarines, by studying sharks, we created submarines and things like that. So whales. In a world where we've been able to create all those things, how can somebody still be saying that only God can save Nigeria? Or only you cannot do anything, or only God can stop the flood, or only God. In a world where we've even discovered that you can fly by creating. Can you imagine? Life is predictable, but we make it complex. Just because we are so lazy, we don't want to do research, we don't want to do analysis, we don't find out the law. But once you find out the laws and the principles behind anything, then you can build a system. That is how the cities are built in Europe. But if you go to some developing countries, there are no organized cities because they don't go through it through understanding of laws and principles. So in developing countries, people just build houses where they want. So that's why in developing countries, you have the laws and principles. They are supreme in everything. So you need permission for this, permission for this. Why? Because they want you to abide by the rules, laws, and principles. Because only when the things are done, everything is done by principle, then everything becomes predictable and easy running. That's why some people hate living in England or in America, because there are too many laws. But those are the things that make their society governable and predictable. So life itself is based on laws and principles. That is the principle that is behind hospitals, transport systems, computers, electricity, television. Just principles. Just follow the principles. You don't need to be smart. Just repeat the principles. You got it now. Once you get the principles right, then systems make everything to be stable, predictable, automatic, and reproduce themselves. Are you following me now? Now, so how do we begin to form or to create systems? How can I personally or you learn to build systems? There is one word, magical word, that you must know. For you to be able to build systems, you've already understood the most important principle, which is you must derive laws and principles behind the functioning of whatever you want to create. Now, after knowing that, those principles and laws, you must be able to combine them into what is called algorithm. Algorithm. You must be able to bring them together and form them into what we call an algorithm. Algorithm. Or formula. Algorithm. How do you spell algorithm? It's going to be there. Let's continue.
Essence of systems. A system functions with no outside help. You do not need to control it at all the time. It is built on the basis of laws and algorithms. It is based on a specially developed formula.
So once you are able to, wait. Once you are able to get the formulas together or the algorithm, it's just a matter of process to go through to build a system.
Systems rule the world. 92% of the world do not understand that systems rule everything and everything is based on systems. Even less people understand that everyone can build their own system. Only people who build systems rule this world.
I already mentioned that earlier on to you.
Importance of systematic thinking. You need to think systematically and use a systematic approach
Not
to
systematic, but systemic. Okay.
You need to think systemic, right? And use a systematic approach to resolve any problem.
Systemic approach, yeah.
In order to resolve any problem, you need to be able to develop a system. Ability to build systems is what allows to resolve any problems.
Right. Wait. Yeah.
Next. So
algorithm
of resolving any problem.
Okay, now. This might be, you might need help here, right? Does this need explanation?
Yes, please.
Okay. So the first thing you must do to build a system is to come up with a formula. Where do we get formulas from? Who knows? I need you to tell me now. Where do we get our formulas from? Kaneshna. Oh, of course. Laws and principles. You must discover the laws and principles that are behind whatever you want to do. So once you have the laws together, it is on the basis of those laws that you create a formula, just like you do mathematics. You know there are different formulas for resolving different equations. Do you remember that? Okay, that is where you get that from. Okay, then once you get the formula will help you to create a structure. Structure is a small part of a system or a branch of a system or something that just, just a particle, a part of it. Just, for example, okay, let's say this is a system. This whole diagram is a system. This is one structure, this is another structure, this is another structure, this is another structure, this is another structure. So system is when they all work together as one unit. And the thing that makes it to work as one unit are the process. Process is what is connecting the structures, you see? This is the process, you see? Making it to roll together. Are you getting it? Oh, it's a bit complex. Okay, so you have formula, you have structure, you have process. Then you get a system. Okay. Yes. Yeah, it's a mistake there. It's a mistake there, right? Okay, go ahead.
75% of success lies in building a system. 25% is in following it.
Okay, so this is another very important thing you must know in life. For you to become somebody who controls life and who manages your affairs, who manages his own affairs, someone who will rule in life. Apart from knowing that life is based on principles and the discipline to be able to implement those principles, you must know that that discipline starts with you sitting down and building a system on paper first. Then going to try to now go and walk and do that, that is 25%. So if you are able to sit down and build a system, that's 75%. Success already. For example, let me give you an example. This is my house here. You know, before, when we had not even bought the land, we already have the house. The architect had already drawn the house. So the work of the architect, the drawing and the sketches and all that, that is the most difficult part of this building, of this house. 75% of the house that is built, is the work of the architect. 75%. So what the laborers are doing, taking the bricks, that's just 25. That is how it is with everything in life. The ability to be able to sit yourself down, get the full picture and the detailed picture and the detailed description of what you need to do, to calculate it and to see it from A to Z, and to be able to see the answer and the solution on paper, in your mind and on paper, is 75% of success. You will therefore understand why Jesus said, if you want to go against if a king wants to go to war against another king, if he doesn't want to come back defeated, he needs to do one thing. He needs to stop, sit down, and plan. He's talking about systems. He has to create the system and the strategy for success. That is what every military does. They have their military headquarters, where generals are the ones who plan out the battle details. So it is how efficient you are able to draw and see the end product and see everything that determines your success in battlefield. So the battle itself is only 25%. Just like with the house. The ability to be able to discern it and to be able to put everything together and calculate all the details. Unfortunately, the way we do things is either to just sit down and don't even use our mind. We just pray. If you don't see any picture here, you don't see anything, nothing to implement. Nothing will come to pass. That's why you become a victim of chances or miracles. Either it will come or it will not come. And your life is not predictable and it's not organized. Next point. Jesus said that if you want to build a tower, the same principle must apply. You must, first of all, sit down, do the architectural work, do the design, calculate every brick, every cement, and how much everything is going to. Otherwise, if you don't finish it already, that's why you need civil engineering. They calculate everything, including the cost and all that. It's only after all that is done, you've done and finished everything on paper. That's 75% of the success already. Then just the ones you just go and do, just 25. It's in everything like that. But you know what? Most of, even those of us who are zealous, we just rush. Woo! We want to quickly begin to do something without even building systems. So pay attention to that. Sit down first. Build the system. See from beginning to the end. Then your success is guaranteed 75% even before you start. That's how God works. When he was in heaven, before he said, let there be, his spirit first of all hovered over there, creating everything in the spirit realm first. He knew, he had an understanding of exactly what he wanted by the time he said it. So let there be light. There had trees. He knew what to expect. He didn't just say, say trees, and he didn't know how trees are going to look like. He already saw everything. That's the way we are supposed to function as well. Are you getting me? 75%. So the work, the physical work itself is only 25. Next point.
Definition of system. System is a structure which reproduces structures that interact with each other.
You saw the big photograph that we had, if you remember.
It is a triggered process of a set of rules and laws which produces an expected result.
Okay. Next point.
Definition of structure.
Okay, you see it now. You see it?
Structure is a combination and sequence of elements which constitute a system. Structure is a whole organism that is directed at achieving a set goal and fulfills a set function.
Wait. Let me see. Okay.
Differences between a system
okay,
and a structure.
Let's ask you, what's the difference between a system and a structure? Who could tell?
System is a collection of structures.
Okay. Just collection of structures. Just collect them and put them in the room.
In a process.
Aha! Without it working in a process, it's just a connection of structures. It is the system that makes these structures to work together to become a system. Are you getting it? Is there any other person who wants to explain the difference between structure and system? Anybody wants to explain? Yes.
System and the structure is the manifestation of system.
It's too simplistic. Who wants to explain the difference? I'm saying the difference between structure and system. Yes, please.
System is the group of processes to allow the structure function. And the structure is the repository of these systems. And that's why it's static.
It's very close, but you are coming from the other side. Yes.
The structure holds the systems together. Holds the different processes together. So the system is a sequence of processes held together by a structure.
You are complicating yourself. Yeah?
Systems are dynamic. I wish your words there was structures are static in the sense that you can take a system and reproduce it somewhere else. It doesn't have to look exactly like the previous one. As long as it contains the same structures as they are, it will produce the same results.
You are complicating life for yourself.
Is the order to which things, which it's done.
Okay.
The system is done, and then the system is the entire process, the way it works, in completion.
Very close. Yeah.
System are sets of structures which are connected by processes.
Brilliant. Say it again, please.
System are sets of structures which are connected through processes.
Again, so that they could write it down.
System are sets of structures which are connected by processes.
Yes, simple. They said again. Slower.
Okay. System are sets of structures which are connected through processes.
Or by
processes.
Is it clear what he said or it's not? It's not, huh? Okay. Help them out.
What Pastor was trying to explain is that everybody has a cell phone. There are so many components in there. There's a process of putting them together that make them function. So you can use your cell phone. Does that make sense? If there's no process, those structures are just static. They're just going to be there. They have to be connected together to make them work as a cell phone.
Yeah, not bad. Let's call Pastor. Well, what's your name again? Leye.
Yes, sir.
Yes, please explain to them, because since you are the one who gave the definition.
With an example.
Maybe not an example, just description at least. It's
Okay.
already saying there.
Yeah. All right, I'm just looking at what
Camera,
I can use
they
because
want
I'm
you to
oh
look
sorry.
You don't need to use example. Just say it again at least.
Okay.
Describe it.
Said okay. System are sets of structures which are connected together or held together by a process, by a set of processes. Now
you just go back to the diagram. It is there, or after. You can go.
The one,
down.
2 slides before.
Yes. One, okay, like here, for example. Or the one before. Let's go to the one before. Okay. Show them here.
Okay.
What is structure here and what is system.
Now, when he was explaining that, basically, he said that
Go
these
there and
actually
touch.
forms the whole components there actually forms what you call the system.
Yes.
And these arrows are actually the processes.
Yes.
So basically, we get the formula from
Where is the
laws.
structure?
The structure.
Tell them where the structures are.
That's the whole structure.
No, that's the whole system.
That's the whole system. Sorry, these are the structures.
You
All
didn't
these
point to
components,
that
sorry,
now.
these are the structures. Yeah.
And
That's
then
whole
the
system.
process is what?
The process are the arrows.
So can you now see it, or you still don't get it? You got it now. Okay, let's.
It's like the digestive system. The digestive system is made of the mouth, the throat, the stomach.
Microphone. That's a give her a microphone.
The digestive system is made of the mouth, the throat, the esophagus, the stomach, the small intestine, the large intestine. They are all structures. The mouth is a structure. The stomach is a different structure. If they are not connected together, it's not going to be a system. But it's connected together. So from the food, when you put the food in your mouth, it has to pass through the esophagus, to go to the small intestine, I'm bringing it out, to the stomach, to the small intestine, to the large intestine, for the food to digest. It's the process of digestion. You have to put all these different structures together for the
The
food
same
to
thing for
digest.
any system,
Yeah.
hospital or transport system or computer that you are holding. Any system works like that. The body itself is a system. Are you getting it? So your head is a structure on its own. Your hands are structure on their own. Your legs are structures on their own. But when they all come together, they become a system. But it will not even become a system until the blood flow and everything begins to. Those are processes. You got that now? Okay. Yes, let's continue. Go ahead. Leave this, Ella. Yeah.
Definition of process.
Now, you see what process does? Look at the photograph. It's not what causes it to move. You see, that's what process does. Just like the blood flow.
Process,
go ahead, go ahead.
Process is
no,
movement.
No, need to read. No, it's clear. Go, yes.
Properties of a system. If you know the algorithm, you can build any system. Anyone can build systems. Systems must be used instead of emotions to solve a problem.
Now, that is one major thing that we should all know. That system beats emotions. Normally, what is our responses to life? That's why Jesus said, sit down first. And calculate. Get rid of the emotion. Think. Use your mind. Get the formulas. Put the algorithms together. Build a system. That will be perfect response to life. And that's what will always give you victory. You always win when you respond by system rather than by emotions.
Systems beat proficiency. A system is more powerful than anointing and prayer. Standard algorithm. 1, define the task.
Okay, now these are the algorithms that are needed to build a system.
Number 2, define the time limit. Number 3, define the available resources. 4, divide the task by time. 5, define the location. 6, build a team. 7, assign team members for each territory. 8, make a schedule for every day. 9, backup system. 10, monitoring system. 11, encouragement system. And 12, methods to reach 1,000 followers.
I think all that is just a bunch of words to you guys, right? Now, we have to start hard work now. But before we start, we have to take a little break again, because this is going to be another tough one. You will need your mind to be alert again. Don't stop. Don't stop. You are not stopping it, right? Because prosperous we are standing. Now, you guys that are at home, watching us at home, we are going to have a 2 minutes break here. I'm going to send everybody to the street, to the cold again, to inhale some cold energy. I'm going to send them out to the street to get some energy, some renewed energy before we come, because this thing we are coming to deal with is very well complex. Is very intense. So, but you guys who are at home, I want to encourage you to go ahead and share the link. Go and press the share button, and while you are pressing the share button, I'm going to invite some who doesn't want to go to the code. Sufficient will not go to the court. You come here. You are going to be talking to them while we are out in the street. Be explaining to them what we are trying to learn here before we come back. Well, everybody go to the street. This is the microphone here. Take. What has been happening here and what just your life.
Yeah, that has set me on the trap because I don't want to go into the code. Okay, hello guys. Yeah, it's been a wonderful time at the HMT. As I told you earlier on, and I believe it's a great blessing that this particular session of HMT is being streamed live, and you are being able to participate with us. The issue of system is actually a wonderful topic, basically, and Pastor is the one that usually handles this topic, because success and failure in life, in my perspective and understanding, is totally dependent on this topic. And the truth about it, about life generally, is that if you can understand this particular topic that Pastor is teaching today, and you are disciplined enough to practice this, basically, every task you are set to do, you're going to achieve it. So that is why Pastor is not in a haste to just dish out the information. He doesn't want us to just hear, but he wants us to understand and assimilate every section of this particular topic, because it's very important. So if I were you at home, maybe as they are out taking or inhaling the cold air, I will be grabbing my notes if I was not writing and paying close attention, probably maybe silencing your phone or anything that might distract you, as we are going to move into the next interesting section. So if you understand this particular topic we are going to be treating, then most of your tasks or anything you're set out to do in life will be made easier, because it's more like handing you a kind of a prototype on what you can use, to structure out anything you want to do in life. So if you want to win in life, or you want to do anything on a big scale, then this is the topic you want to stick with. I've not really heard anywhere it's been analyzed and taught the way Pastor have it. So you are having a treasure on the platter of gold right at the domain and comfort of your home. So if I were you, I would take advantage of it. You've been around, you've seen all the process Pastor have been talking about, and right now he's about to dissect into systems, the whole structure and the processes. So everything he's teaching us today still have a biblical principle and backing, but it's not just coming now from the religious perspective or just quoting what the Bible says. Before you go to war, you have to sit down and calculate and everything. But he's been able to bring up all these things, and he's going to be analyzing everything to us, how to apply it into our day-to-day life and day-to-day activities. So it's going to be an awesome time and an awesome ride. Like I told us, even on our actions and everything, HMT is always a wonderful opportunity to have everything you need to win big time in life. So I will encourage you to be very attentive, reduce your distractions, and concentrate so you can benefit. Because I believe what Pastor has done, streaming this, I don't know, is generosity taken to another level. So I wouldn't want you to miss out on the privilege and the opportunity you've been given. So get your notes. If you need to invite someone, please share the link and invite as many people as you can. Please don't be, nonchalant about this topic, or be stingy about inviting your friends. If you need to tag someone, please tag someone. If you have the opportunity to listen to it, you can reduce your distractions. That would be the wonderful thing to do. So it's going to be an awesome ride. I believe you're going to stay with us, and if you need to even call someone, please call someone. Because for me, when it comes to HMT, this topic is actually the topic you want to look at. And maybe you can take down the point, because Pastor is going to be explaining each of those points when he comes in. That's the standard algorithms defining the task. So it's more like when you have anything you want to do, basically what Pastor is outlining at those points is where you have to start from, the things you need to do, the first steps, the second steps, the third steps. So when you have this understanding, tax doesn't become, how do I put it, it's not just some kind of complex things anymore. That's actually, what will I say, that's a blessing I have had working with him, basically. So for me, there is nothing I'm set out to do that I don't believe can be done, because basically he has taught me this successfully. So I know it's going to take a lot of hard work. It's going to take me paying the price, but I already have the how it's going to work. I already have how I'm going to put each of those structures into place, connecting it through the process, getting the system at work, and achieving the big thing I want to achieve. So the first step Pastor is saying is defining the task. What does that have to do? Pastor is still going to teach. Basically, when he comes, he's going to explain all those points and everything. What exactly is that thing you want to do? So you define the task of what you want to do. What I want to do? Why do I want to do this thing? Why is this thing important? When you're defining the task, you have to know everything about what you want to do before you even set out to doing it. So, my dear, I would say you should take down this point. If you can write, you write, because, well, these slides are not going to be given out. So if you can snap your screens, you can snap it. It's going to be a wonderful. Maybe I should just read it out so you could write it in case you're not seeing it properly. Well, the first one is define the task. The second one is define the time limit. The third one is define the available resources. The fourth one is divide the task by time. I think I'm a bit fast. Let me slow down. I'm sorry. On a normal day, I'm a fast talker. So the first thing is define the task. Second one, define the time limit. Third, define the available resources. Fourth, fourth is divide the task by time. All right, divide the task by time. Fifth, define the location. Sixth, build a team. 7, assign team members for each territory. Now, coming to building a team, this is actually the privilege, or will I say, the benefits or the edge those who are here have over you. Like yesterday and everything in these sections that were not streamed, they've been taught how to build a team. All right, so they've been given the different principles, how to build a team, how to know those who are potential team members, how to get your team together. A lot of people have a problem with building teams and all that. Building a team from the scratch, from no one. So they have been taught that, how to build a team. Unfortunately, we didn't stream that. So that is 7. That's 6. Then 7, assign team members for each territory. 8, make a schedule for every day. 9, backup system. 10, monitoring system. 11, encouragement system. And the 12 is methods to reach 1,000 followers. Now, so these are all the points. I believe you got it, everything. So I'm going to start again so you get all the points. Define the task, 1. Define the time limits, 2. Define the available resources, 3. Divide the task by time, 4. Define the location, 5. Build a team, 7. Assign team members for each territory, 8. Make a schedule for every day, 9. Backup system, 10. Monitor system, 11. Encouragement system, 12. Methods to reach 1,000. I'm going to pick a particular point among all those points. That is the backup system. Now, if you have been following Pastor's broadcast and everything, I believe you should have heard of Pastor talking about that when he has a plan, before he launches out anything he's doing, that he will have at least 3 backup plans in case the first one does not work. Now, you're going to be hearing where all that comes from. Pastor does not just have one plan that, okay, I'm going to set out to do this. No. If he's saying, I will do this, or I'm going to achieve this in 2 years, then you have to know that Pastor Sunday has nothing less than 3 to 10 backup plans on what he has planned. So if he fails, let's say, for instance, if his goal was to reach 1 billion, and if he's failing, then probably he's going to reach, let's say, hello guys, we are live. We are live. We are live. They need to hear me. Thank you. So now, for Pastor to, before he will step out to say he's going to do anything, basically, so he has at least 3 to 10 backup plans. That is why when people are doubting him when he's saying he's going to Nigeria and what he's going to do, it's funny because I know who I've been working with for close to 2 years now. If he says, I'm doing this thing and I'm getting this so time, he should have set out a system, not just one system, but 3 to 10 different backup plans. So if the first one fails, the second one will not fail. If the first, second, and third fails, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh, it's not going to fail. So those are what the backup plans are all about, and that is what he's going to be teaching in HMT today. So you don't just be dimensional. If you have something you want to do and you're set out to do something, have backup plans, because you know things can actually not go as you planned. So in case something doesn't go as you planned, what do you fall back to? That is why the backup system is very, very important and necessary. And I have observed this in his life. So before Pastor says, I'm doing this, just know he has 3 to 10 different ways he will come up with that. So if the first one fails, the second one is not going to fail. So as he has said that in 5 to 10 years, that Nigeria is going to be a place of envy. Guys, I want to let you know, just believe me, it's going to be less than 5 years. Why did I say so? As he has set that for 5 to 10 years, the system he has put in place is going to get him to achieve that in less than that time. It's more like if you've read Money Will Make You Rich and Everything, he actually gave himself 2 years to make his first million, but he did that, I think, in 6 to 9 months, he made his first million. That's the way pastor works. So he will set out the plan, the goal, then he has the backup plans, the different strategies. In case this fails, this will not fail. In case the other one fails, the other one will not fail. So the backup is very important. Then, what I will advise you to do now is, as much as you're getting this for free, I want you to understand that this is a treasure that I don't know if we were to pay for this, how much it will cost, basically. Most times one will even pay to go for seminars. We don't have this kind of content. So we are about to start. Pastor is here. Keep watching and you're going to be tremendously blessed. Bye. Let's join Pastor.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you. You did a good job. You are able to cope. It means you have been taught well by Pastor Sunday. You are a good student. That is your own victory speech. After Donald Trump. Huh? Rioting. Yeah? Who is excited about this topic? Tell me about it. How many demons were cast out? They are not the way. Where is the microphone? Yeah, microphone. No, not you. Okay, I want to hear a few people before we move on. Kevin, come here. Why are you excited? And who else is excited about this topic? Huh? Yeah, excited. Okay. Yeah? Yeah? What makes you excited?
What makes me excited is because it's like as we're going through each slides, I'm just kind of relating.
Louder.
I'm relating it to just different systems that exist at like currently, and I can see like the parallel correlation to why things work in a specific way, and generally it's giving me an understanding on systems and stuff. So, you know, wow, it's really powerful.
Have you been going to church all your life?
Basically, yeah.
Do you wish you've been taught this?
Yeah, I wish I was taught this from a young child. Well, yeah, because I guess it's like understanding this stuff has allowed me to clear the illusions that I've built up in my mind through some of the
Prayer, 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 prayer.
Yeah, the religious dogmas that's been blasted into our minds since we've been young. It's just helped me to be able to see things clear. And I think that's great.
Hello, Caroline Schronke. I've been here before and I've heard this, but I mean, obviously you can't get everything in just one sitting. But the thing that hit me this time was the fact that if you can understand the principles behind a certain system, you can fix it. And we have so many broken systems. We have so many broken systems. And I just realized, like, this is the answer. Like, you're always wondering, okay, God, this is an opportunity to fix problems, like we heard yesterday. But how? Like, how do we do this? And this is the answer. I don't know why it just clicked now, but the fact that if you can learn the fixed principles of a system, you actually have the answer that everybody's searching for already.
That's good.
just sitting and, like he said, focusing your mind in that direction for as long as possible.
Right. Are you excited?
Yes, I'm excited.
I'm excited, guys. This message has after listening to this message, there's no excuses for any of us today.
To fail, yeah.
Yeah, no excuses no more. We'll either fail because we don't know the principles, or we're too lazy to apply the principles. The two principles that stood out to me the most is sitting down and planning, which is 75% of your time. And
Of success.
Yes.
Of your chance to succeed. 75% of your possibility to succeed is dependent on that, yes.
Yes. And also number two is, a lot of us do research, but we don't do research long enough. So we could have read Money Won't Make You Rich, and we just read it once and we think we know it all. Sometimes you might have to read it 30, 35 times until you know it. And how do you know you know
The
it?
patience of mind, concentration.
Yes. So that's what stood out to me. Thank you, Pastor.
Who else says he's excited? Share. Yeah.
Well, I'm actually very, very excited, and I'll tell you why. I believe that this particular segment that we're about to go into, I got a little info from Doctor, how we actually use it to actually build his practice. I wonder why he's here again. Probably wants to build more. Now, so I'm excited because we're going back. Like I said, we came here on purpose. And the whole plan is to actually go back and begin to apply what we have learned here.
Uche, you want to come as well?
To keep, to hit the ground running. So the system that we're about to learn, the principles and everything, we see the church as a system. And then we want to reach out and begin to connect structures outside the church wall through the processes that we're going to learn here, so that we can begin to reproduce. That's on the church level. Now, personally, I believe that the ministry that I operate in is a system also. And I believe that this is actually going to make it increase. And that's the reason why we're here.
Amen.
And in addition to that, even in my own professional life, I believe this can actually work.
Amen.
So I'm excited. I'm just looking forward to this segment.
You are from Nigeria originally?
Yes, I'm from Nigeria originally.
What can we do with that country if we get as many people as possible to quit living by superstition and begin to live a definite, predictable life like we are teaching now? If the country gets this message,
well,
or the churches.
Basically, Pastor Sunday,
we can fix everything.
What's going to happen is this. We're called a developing country. And you said something about developed country. The reason why it works is because there's a system in place. And you also say that these systems are replicable. We can multiply them. So all we need to do is just to go back there and establish this system. And we'll expect to get the same result that we currently have here. It's as simple as that.
Are you seeing hope for the African continent, for Nigeria?
Yeah, there's.
Because I'm going back there.
Oh, there's hope. There's hope for Nigeria. There's hope for Nigeria.
What do you think our school system have been doing? What job have they been doing if we have not been bringing this enlightenment to people, even our churches? Because I don't think our people have been taught like this. That's why they've not functioned that way.
One of the major differences that you notice between the schools in the developed country and developing country is the fact that in the developing country back in Nigeria, basically what we do is just theory because the system is not in place. Now what they do here is what you call practical. They actually have a system in place. So when we go back there, it's just one of the things that can be changed. You know, the orientation and the system. The system as a whole. The system as a whole. So it's all connected, Pastor Sunday. Everything is connected.
But you see hope.
Oh, there's great hope.
For the continent, for the country.
There is great hope. There's great hope. You know, there's great hope. There are a lot of things that we've learned here in the developed world that we can actually apply back at home as professionals.
Okay, Uche, you are the one who wanted me to talk about this topic before going home.
Yes, sir.
Before you go home tomorrow. I wanted to do it tomorrow, but what is the benefit to you?
I want to thank you, first of all, for agreeing to do it today. Thank you very much, because the reason I came was to learn how to build systems. I must have said that like 1,000 times now. But that's why I came. Because I know from some of what I teach environmental management systems. Okay. But for me, and it's a shame really, because I had locked that up in a box and said, okay, that's for environmental management, and that's for me to teach. Okay. I teach it, I implement it in organizations, but I have not sat down to say, actually, a system can also be developed for self-management, to manage your business or to arrive at a certain goal. But I'm beginning to see
ministry.
Or ministry even. You can develop a system to grow a church, and it's not church growth it's not mystical or magical. Okay. So you know where you want to get to, and you have building blocks that you can put in place to get there. So the benefit for me is that I now know that I can predict where EcoGreen International, which is my business in Nigeria, I can predict how many courses will run next year, because I will build a system by determining the task, first of all. You're going to talk about all those, but I can go through those steps, and I can say with a certain degree of certainty, based on the effectiveness of my system and my diligence in applying it, that this is what I would achieve next year.
So you are actually basically agreeing with the concept that life is predictable.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes.
Not just business is predictable, but life.
Life is predictable because systems can be built for any area of life.
Now, I asked him a question. Do you see any hope for the continent of Africa and for Nigeria in particular?
There is hope, yes. And the hope is based on the fact. It's based on the principle that principles do not respect persons. Principles
or continents.
Or continents, or places, or locations. If he works, if he works in England, it will work in Afghanistan. Okay, if you succeed in teaching a monkey to drive a car, it will drive the car. The car won't say, oh, it's a monkey, therefore I won't move. No, if the monkey does the right things, the car will move. So so there is hope for the continent of Africa. If we learn to do the right things, put the right systems in place, we will be able to predict our future, and we can get there.
Then I also asked the second question: what then is if there is hope for Africa, do you sometimes feel that our educational system has disappointed the country, and our churches also might have let down the country?
I think our educational system, it's not just a personal view. Even people who lecture in Nigerian universities would agree that they're not doing what they should be doing, because the emphasis has been on, like he said, giving people knowledge. First of all, most of the knowledge is irrelevant because it's outdated. And also, the purpose of education is more or less to give a certificate. So people go to universities to earn a certificate, not necessarily to know how to live. and not necessarily to. So people go to a university, get a degree, so that when they graduate, they will be employable. That's the whole point. Okay, but if our educational systems are able to teach people that you can, if you want to get an employment when you finish, that's fine. You can also build a system for yourself to make you the best candidate to get this particular kind of job at a certain time. But at the same time, you can also build a system to help you become whatever you want to become by the time you leave the university.
And what about what we spoke about yesterday, thinking global, and making your work and your success be on top of the mountains and not just a local success or local thing. Build systems that will really make it international, global.
Yeah, so...
But what about the churches? Do you think things could have been different if at least this knowledge were to be given or to be known in the churches?
Yes, things would have been different because of the influence that churches wield in Nigeria. So if you go to, I happen to go to Nigeria fairly regularly, and in the south of Nigeria, Lagos, Port Harcourt, on a Sunday morning the roads are empty because everybody's in church. Okay, so if you imagine that if everybody who goes to church is taught that you can influence what happens on a Sunday morning in society, and they are told how to do it. Well, I think that's another challenge, because there are places where people teach the church is the light of the world. You're a believer. God has put you in this world to influence your society. Some people know that, but they don't know how to actually be that change. But this is the how. This is the how, building the system. So it's one thing to know that by a system you can achieve anything, but it's another thing to know that you can, or know how to build it. I knew before today that with a system I can achieve anything, but I didn't know how to build a system, and that's why I wanted to be taught on how.
Do you think you want to challenge churches to begin to teach things like this?
Yes, I would challenge churches, first of all. Okay, if you're a pastor by any chance listening, first of all, the first thing you want to know is, you want to do is be open and be teachable. Okay, be open and be teachable, because if you've got to the point where you think that you know it all and that you can't learn anymore, then you're really helpless. Okay, so you've got to be open and consider the possibility that there is knowledge out there that can help you that you do not have. Okay, once you consider that possibility and open your heart, then you can access the knowledge. And when you access knowledge, give it to your people.
Last question to you and to Shea also. What I'm teaching now, is it just theory, or you could say you have seen it since you came here?
And that's why we came here. That's why we came, because it's not theory. So anybody can say these things, but we've seen it. We've seen systems work. I mean, we've seen how that. We saw. So on Monday we went to one rehabilitation home, and yesterday someone came to talk to us from a rehabilitation home, but it was an entirely different rehabilitation home. But it could have been the same, because everything we saw was what the person talked about. Okay, so nothing was left to chance. Nothing was. You're not put in there and told, okay, go and try your luck. If you succeed, you succeed. No, but you're given something that is written down. It's concrete. There are structures put together into a system. And I think you can do, and you can more or less predict your success. So yes, we have seen systems work in this place. So this thing does work.
So even though we believe in the supernatural in this church, have you also seen some supernatural things happening? Because some people will say, "Oh, we deny miracles or supernatural."
Well, I think that would be the height of ignorance. Anybody who says that,
I've been accused of that.
No, they just don't know. So have mercy on them. Because I mean, so on Sunday morning, okay, we were in church on Sunday morning, and you see, I think it's tragic that if you go to some church services, the testimonies you hear are, the man of God said, if you sow a seed today, this week you get a miracle phone call, and I queued into that miracle. I sowed a seed into the man of God's life, and I got a phone. This is a serious matter, and I got a phone call on Monday morning. Okay, those are all the and these are not testimonies of lives changed. Okay, but what I saw on Sunday morning, I did a brief live recording, and I wrote my note was on it was church like I've never seen. I'm a church boy. I was born in church. Okay, I've been in church all my life. What I wrote on it was church like I've never seen before, because every testimony was that of a real life changed, not something that happened last week because I did something sporadic. No, but a product of a system. Okay, that was first of all put in place, I believe, by inspiration from the Holy Spirit. Okay, so you see people coming and say, I've been a drug addict for 18 years, and I did the same thing that everybody has done in this system, and I got delivered. Okay, and the same person, you can almost predict, okay, you can almost predict that in 18 months, that person is going to start a rehabilitation center, because the system is there, and it's worked before. So there's no reason why it won't work for this other person.
Can you answer the same questions?
Just a very quick one. Just thinking about the church. Now, we use it's always been that we pray for church growth. We pray that God will bring people into the church. We pray and we fast. Well, if we see the growth, they come in trickles. But it just occurred to me that the same system that you put in place is what they have in Acts chapter 2. The Bible talks about the church that they continue in the apostles' doctrine, fellowshipping, breaking of bread. Now, we don't have the details of what that means, but I see it in form of a system. There was a system in place, and there was an increase. The system works here in the church. We've seen it. And like he says, it can work anywhere. Because if it works here, it can work anywhere. Praise the Lord.
Thank you. Take it. All right. Now you are ready to restart. You have to put off the light. So how do you build a system? This is what we call algorithm. You know, algorithm, like the formula, is you get the principles. So what I'm going to give you today is just a general principle that will guide you, just guide you. You might be having different callings, different challenges, different tasks that you want to resolve and confront. But this will just give you a holistic, general approach into building a system, because this is going to be like working with people. Let's say you want to reach out, you want to reach 1,000 people a year, or 10,000 people a year, or 1 million people a year. It doesn't matter. So let's take 1,000, or 10,000, or 1 million. But the principle is still the same. You will still achieve something. Or let's say even it's not people you want to reach. Let's say it's $1 million you want to get in 1 year. It's the same principle. So, but the principle will be different in the sense that, I mean, the actions or whatever you are going to apply might be different, but the principles will give you understanding of how to deal with anything you want to deal with in future. So the most important thing you must know is that you must first of all study that area of life, discover the laws that are responsible for the functioning of that particular sphere that you want to engage in. And then you have to be, from those principles and from those laws that you discover, you have to put together a formula, what we call algorithm. All right? So the first thing you need to do is this. Decide what is your goal. What is the target you are putting before yourself? What is the goal you want to achieve? It could be even that you want to become the president of your country, or that you want to become a governor, an elected official. Just anything. Just define your goal. Any task or any system must start, first of all, by knowing what you want, by determining or deciding on what you want to do. What goal do you want to attain? What target do you put before yourself? So decide on your target. So it could be church growth. Others are what you are expecting to do. Or the spiritual warfare you are doing. You know what you are supposed to have been doing. and lose. Make everything mystery, just mystical. How does it go? It will give you church growth. I'm going to talk about it. So it could be that you want to grow your church by 1,000 in a year, or by 10,000, or by 1 million. So let's just say you want to reach a certain amount of people. So whatever, you put your own goal, it's your own call. So the first thing in a system, it doesn't matter if it is computer you want to build or you want to become an elected official. Just define your goal. Okay? Define your goal. Number 2, once you define the goal, I don't know, I'm not sure about the interpretation here, but my own language might be more trustworthy. Next point is you want to set for yourself a time limit. A time limit. Within what period of time do you want to attain that particular goal? Do you want to attain it within a year, or in 2 years, or in 5 years, 10 years, 3 years? What is the time span that you are looking at achieving that goal or attaining that result? So let's say you want to touch 1,000 people, you want to bring 1,000 people to your church, or touch 1,000 people in your city, or for your business in 1 year. So we have the goal 1,000, and the time limit is 1 year. Next point. Next point in the algorithm is you must sit down and analyze your available resources. You must answer yourself questions on what are the resources that you have already. What are the resources that you have available that you can fall back on? What are the resources that you have available that you could fall back on? Some people will answer me immediately and say, Pastor, but what about if I don't have enough resources? Or I have limited resources? So let's take that scenario. Let's take the worst scenario, the worst case scenario, that you are the most unlucky person, the most unfortunate, that doesn't have anything, no connection, no money, no long leg. Let's just assume that you don't have members at all. You don't have leaders. You don't have members. You don't have building. You don't have anything. You just have yourself. No, let's say you don't have a wife. When I came here, I was not having one. I was all by myself. So let's say that, but I want to let you know that any other resource that you have apart from yourself is a bonus. That's the way you should look at it. Any other resource you have is a bonus. In fact, let's get to a place of even thinking that you don't even have God. Yes. Let's even remove God from the equation itself. Let's assume that you are an unbeliever. You don't even have God. Because it's a shame that we who have God, we are not even using it to get any result. And we don't even know, there's no even proof that we have God. But the ones who don't have God are having results. So that thing you are telling me, Ushe, that so some people in church believe that even though we can do everything, work hard and do all that, but if God doesn't bless it, that you can. So you want to tell me that it's because of the anointing or the anointing oil that Bill Gates had. That is, or because of the prayer warriors that are praying for him. That is why he became the richest guy in town. Maybe Warren Buffett. We got the bishop of the lay hands on him. Even Trump. Yeah. Maybe it's because of the pageant he was organizing. Or maybe because he was so holy. How holy life he was living. What did you say?
I was going to say, just looking at some Facebook posts today after the results were announced, and this mindset is so prevalent because in Nigeria, because some people are already, a friend of mine posted and said, oh, in this life, grace is really all you need. Tom.
Oh my show, yeah, that's the real, that is the real answer.
On Facebook too, they did say that Billy Graham, before this went really became so evident, they said that Billy Graham predicted, or will I say predicted, declared that he will be the president. So on Facebook, a lot of Christians are saying, didn't we say so? God had already ordained it. So whether he worked hard or not, he would have been the president.
Let me now tell you the truth. Let me now tell you the truth. Billy Graham, forget about it because he is sick. But his son is the one heading the ministry now. And his son is Franklin Graham. And he's the only Christian in America that is against Trump. Openly. All other ones are supporting him. But he said he cannot support him because of the integrity of his father and their name. Because with the lifestyle that Trump has lived and with all the things he said and everything, that is not coming, it's unbecoming for them now to say this is our candidate. That is the whole thing they have fought against and all their lives. So somebody will get explanation. That's why they came up with that explanation. But people want to talk about their own spiritual, whatever, understanding, and want to find any argument to support their position. And their position is that God has said it, so it's not because he walked, it's not because he tried, it's not because of anything. Yes, there is the possibility for the will of God. But even if God has said it and he didn't follow the laws, he didn't work hard, he had professionals that are working according to these principles, who are working throughout every state, everything that puts structures and systems in place, who are working full time. Millions, billions were spent to make sure that the laws are observed before we could get the result. So even though God, yes, it could have been the will of God, but still, he still needed to follow the law and the rules and observe the law. Yes. So okay, what point did we stop in?
Sit and analyze available resources.
Yeah, sit down and analyze your available resources. And your available resources could be anything. If you have resources that are available, money, publicity, advertisement, a corporation or a company or anything, it's your luck. You are good. Thank God for you. But what about if you don't have any of those? So let's assume that you don't have anything, or just you yourself. And let's even assume that the God that you have, you don't know how to use it. Most of us don't know how to use God as a resource. So we're just praying and asking God to come and do what we need to do, and God doesn't honor that kind of thing. So let's remove God out of the equation right now. Because God is bonus. God is additional. What I'm trying to say, why I'm saying we should remove God from the equation is because God has already made everything to function on earth. Either you believe in him or you don't believe in him. God has already created and made every provision on it. If he didn't make every provision, it would not be God. It would be a wicked God. It would not be love. He has provided everything for success in anything you want. Either you even deny him or not. So even people who deny God, God's sun still comes for them. God's oxygen still comes for them. God's rain still comes on. God still makes it, because that's his nature. He has provided everything for the earth. It's his own integrity to function by the laws and principles that he has put in place. So the reason why I say we should remove God from it now is because I don't want you to be relaxed, thinking that, oh, God will just do it. God's grace will just do a favor. God, it's all laziness. It's all desire not to work hard as every other person. It's all desire to say, oh, God's grace will just do it. Oh, I will do a little bit and God will do that. That's why you are not being the best everywhere. That's why you are being beaten. That's why other people who are working and working hard 100% are ahead of you. That's why you cannot overcome them or overtake them. Before you can even hope to overtake any other person in the world, you must have worked at least at par with them on this, as much as they have worked. Then you could rely on God's grace. But better still, work more than other people have worked, do your best, then God's grace will come upon you. So you don't even need to be asking for God's grace to come or of God's miracle to come. You do your best. God's grace and miracle is automatic. You don't even need to bother him. Leave him alone. He will come and bless the fruits of your work. But if you don't have fruit, what will he bless? So let you produce fruit of your work first. You will not need to beg him to come and become it to bless. He will just do it automatically. He said before you ask. You what you're asking. So you don't need to be begging God and making him look wicked, as if you are begging, and he's not listening. Don't make God so mean like that. So leave God alone. Let's find out what you are doing first. So, what are the greatest resources that you have? What are your greatest resources apart from God? Your greatest resource is you. What does that mean? And how do you use that resource? That is one of the most important questions that you'll be able to answer today. You as a resource is more important than money. You as a resource is more important than connection. You as a resource is more important than what you have, your house, your car, your members, your organization, and any other physical possession that you have. You as a resource is important on how much capacity you have been able to build inside yourself. So you as a resource is first of all measured by your level or your height of capacity inside. That is why what makes you valuable is your depth, your understanding, your capacity inside. So you as a resource, you are only valuable by how much value you have added to yourself and how much capacity you have been able to build into yourself and inside yourself. So, for example, let's share. Please, can you start? I'm going to use you as an example. Don't be angry at me. If you look at him and me and him, he looks more handsome than me. So why is it that it's not him you know and it's me you know? He's taller. He's taller than me. Why is it that it's not him because of his height that you know and it's not me that you know? It's not me that you know, but him that you know. He's slimmer, more healthy. Why is it that it's not him that you know because of his healthy look and not me? Whoever you are, let's look at her. Let's look at her. She's more beautiful than me. Even I am dark skinned, Shona Maze, no, like chocolate. Yeah, brown like chocolate, but she's white. I have this showell mouth, white like a sheep. Our own is just modest. I have my nose everywhere going all directions. I won't lose NEET. Anything you want, she's better than me. But so why is it that it's not to her you are coming to study? So whatever you look or however you look doesn't matter. It's immaterial. It's what depth and what capacity you've been able to build inside yourself. Never you think it is what you have outside that makes you. It is what you have been able to build inside that decides who you are. If you are wise, try to convert as much time as possible into value inside yourself. Try to convert your time into added value. So, for example, every one of you has a boss. You have a boss, maybe if you have people you are working under, somebody who's paying you salary. Why is it that you is the one that is the boss, not you? It's because of the value that the person had added to himself, created in himself, capacity. Your life and your quality, your value is dependent not on what you look like, what you wear, where you are, how you do. Your value is dependent on how much capacity, how much depth you have been able to create inside of yourself. So your resource is either limited or unlimited by what value you've been able to create inside yourself. If you like the way I speak, and you think, oh, that man speaks with authority, it's because I had converted time to develop that skill. And if there's anything that you lack right now in yourself that you don't have, it's because you have not spent the currency of time. You have not converted time to get that thing. You have not given out some time to get in exchange that skill to speak. If there is something that I know today that you don't know, it's because I have spent time giving away time to get that knowledge. But you have not given away the same amount of time to buy the content that I have. If there is a skill that I've developed, it's because I've spent time. I've given away time developing that skill. Why you have not? I don't know what you are doing with your own time. That is why when that doctor yesterday said, when he came back from here, he went back and locked himself in a different apartment, different room for 3 months. He was converting that 3 months into added value. He was creating himself. He was creating a new content in himself with what he got from here. It's not just important that you heard. You heard maybe for a certain amount of hours, maybe for 5 hours. But when you get up, if you spend another 50 hours reversing them, that is what now creates the content you will carry. So you yourself, you are the greatest resource in life. Have you added value to yourself? Have you created content and capacity in yourself or not? Or you are just carrying your body everywhere empty? You are just empty. The only thing that is in that body is potatoes and pineapple. Some cow and some meat and some chicken. That's the thing you are carrying about everywhere. So if you open your mouth, only it will come out over there. Or maybe in some cases, kukuru. Those are the only values we have added. Because it is what you put inside that will come out. So nothing of substance. So if you really want to become a person of value, please take time. Okay, now, there is none of you that has an excuse. Because now I've put so much information out there on the internet, on my Facebook, on my blog, in YouTube, even my own resource alone. I guarantee you that. If you will dwell on my resource alone, listen to all of them, like 10 times each or 4 times each, you will be in the 1% of the top people in this whole world. Because there will be you will hardly meet any human being that will be as smart as you. Then if you now spend time to convert them to actions, you will be controlling your world. So that's why you yourself, you are the greatest resource. What you do with that yourself. So that's the greatest resource you have, you. Second resource that you have is the resource of time. Is the resource of time. Like I just said, everything you have today is because you had exchanged it for the currency of time. You had given some time away to get what you have now. That's why you go to work and they pay you salary. You give 8 hours away and you get some, whatever you have now, the amount of money you get. You buy everything you have with the currency of time. But if there is something that you still lack, that you don't have now, it's because you have not given away enough time. You have not paid the currency of time to get it. So the thing, anything you want to achieve in future here, let's say you want to build a system of 1,000 people, as we are talking about. If you want to get 1,000 people, you must know that even those 1,000 people or 1 million people or 10,000 people, they must come from time. Everything is a product of time. Everything comes out of time. This iPad is a product of time. It's coming out of time. This is coming out of time. You are coming out of time. That's why you needed to be there for 9 months. Everything is a product of time. Time is the resource and raw material from which everything comes out. So the 1,000 people you want to create, or 10,000, 1 million, has to come from within that time of one year that we said. So we want to convert that 1 year into 1,000 people. So how do you do that? So you must realize that time, apart from you, is the greatest resource. And you don't need any other thing. Everything comes from time. And if you want, the ocean came out of time. He said the first day and there was firmament and this. Second day or this. And it was the first day. And it was the second day. And it was the third day. Everything is coming out of time. So when we say 1 year is the time we are determining for 1,000 people, it means that 1 year must be converted and exchanged for the 1,000 people we need. So the mechanism of doing it now is what we want to explain to you. Pastor Lemmy, you are getting blessed. I could tell. Give that thing to you. It's like you are enjoying the class.
Very well, sir. I'm enjoying the class. Like I said, I don't know. I'm okay. I'm fine, sir. I'm fine. I'm fine.
Overwhelmed.
Really. This is where this is what I wanted since all these days, and I've gotten it. And it's okay. It's okay. Thank you, bro.
He's very satisfied. I'm not satisfied yet. We are still going on. Next point. So know the importance of time. If you want to know more about time, go to my series on Facebook there, on my YouTube or blog. You will see the series on time and conversion. They will help you. Now, next point is number 4. That time that I just spoke about now, you remember it's a resource. And things come out of it. So, even without you begin to use time, you must now know how to use time as a product. without even the time coming yet. You remember everything has to be done by planning. You remember the 75%? So you have to plan this time before you begin to work it out, before the time comes, sit down. What we are doing now is we are going through this whole list of algorithm and we are planning it. So you must sit down and plan the time for the productivity, for the goal that you want to achieve. So if the goal that you want to achieve is 1,000 people in a year and the time you have is a year, what do you therefore do? You take that goal and you take the time you have and divide the goal by what? Who said? By the time you have, by the available time. Let's say you have 1,000 goal people. So what do you therefore do? You take 1 year. 1 year could be called is what? 1 year is 12 months or 52 weeks or 365 days. Which one will be more practical to use so that you will be able to act it out easily? Is it day or month or week? What is more measurable for you? Days, definitely. Because if you want to put a target for a week, how do you mention it? You have to take it by week. It's better day, because day you wake up every day. It's easier for you to undo a day than to be able to embrace a whole week. Day by day. So what you do in this case is 365 days. Let's divide it by, let's divide our goal, 1,000 by 365 days. Let's give ourselves, because every day might not always be, let's say, just take midweek, Monday to Friday. Then we will have Saturday and Sunday as our extra days. So, backup plan. Or never plan everything immediately. Never plan everything. You always have some space so that you might be able to maneuver. Let's say you fail or default in 1 day, you'll be able to use Saturday to cover for it or Sunday to cover for it. You understand what I mean? So don't plan everything. So let's just plan for 5 days. If you divide, that will be 270 days, I think. Yeah, 2,070 days by 1,000. That will end you with having 4 days or 3 days. 3, that would mean 3 days, 3 point something. Huh? Yeah, 3 people in a day. So it means if you want to get, is it 3 people? 3 people, yeah. 3 to 4. Let's say 4 people. Let's say 4 people in a day. So if you want to just use Monday to Friday, that's 270 divided by, divided 1,000, your goal, divided by the amount of time you have. Why is it important that you divide the time? You divide not the time. You use time to divide your goal. Why is that important? How will it be measurable? Huh?
So basically what you're saying is if you end up with 4 people per day,
yes,
that means you're looking at least coming in contact with at least 4 people per day,
yes,
or influencing the lives of 4 people per day.
Yes.
And that's measurable. So you know if you don't do 4 per day, you know that you have actually missed out.
That's good, but let me say why will you need to divide it. The reason is that I have 1,000 people before me. That's my target. If I just leave it like that, for 1,000 people, I will be scared. It's overwhelming. Yeah. So where will I even start from? How? 1,000 people, where will I run to? A system allows you to simplify any task, no matter how complicated it is, and make it realistic and measurable. So you know that the only resource you have now, for example, let's say you have other resources. Let's say you have 10 people in your church. That will make it easier. Then you can still take those 1,000 people, divide them by not just time, but divide it by the time and divide it by the people too. So if you have 10 people now, you could now say those 10 people, you can now take the same, first of all, divide the 1,000 people by those 10 people, and then divide the time. They have less time to spend on resolving that something. So anyway, but we'll still go to that one. So let's say, if I just say I have 1,000 goal, where will I run from? I will just be saying, okay, we're going to do advertisement, or we are going to do television or radio, but it's not measurable that I am getting what result every day. But if I divide it by day, I can measure what I must do in a day. So I know that once I cover this ground in a day, my job is done for that day. And if I will cover the same ground and do the same job every day, by the time 1 year is over, I will just discover that 1,000 that I thought. Let's say you have the task simplified, and you know that you need to spend 1 day. I mean, you are still working. Let's say you are still working, 8 hours work, and then some hours for your family. So you now have to think, how many hours do I want to give to that in a day? Let's say 2 hours in a day to that task, or 6 hours a day, or 4 hours a day. You decide, right? Whatever you can afford. But that makes it even smaller. How can I, in 2 hours, get such an amount of people, so to say? That is why you must continue to build systems. What do system building make? It makes things simplify. Continue simplifying the thing you are having before you. So you have, I must reach out to 4 people a day, and not just reach out, I must work with them in such a way that they will remain with me or come to me or something like that. So what do I need to do? I must then find out where are these 4 people in a day? Or where are these 1,000 people? Because if you don't answer that question, you'll just be walking around Dublin and be saying you are looking for, it will be too hectic. It's not concrete enough. It's not simplified enough. So you have to answer the question of location. There are 3 important questions that are everywhere. What, where, and when. Or what, when, and where. You understand that? So what is 1,000 people? When is time 3 per day or 4 per day? Where is now what we are answering. Location. So, for example, you have to answer yourself, where? Is it women that I want to discover? If the women, then it's easier for me to know where they are. Are the students that I want to get? If they are students, it's easier for me to answer where they are. Are they men? Do I want to get them in hospitals? Do I want to find them in dormitories? Do I want to say where in terms of geography? Okay, I live in Dublin, but this is the street or the area, the region where I want to get these people from. Or I live in London. This is the area, northwest or northeast. Or these are the streets I want to. So you make it more concrete, and you know that, okay, in this street, there are many houses there. Location. Or maybe I want to get them on Skype. I want to get them on Facebook. Or I want to get them on maybe by email or by, you understand? Location. Simplify it. Make sure that you make it concrete. Where are these people? Or I want to get them through newspapers, advertisement, or through, television, or through something. You want to reach out to greater numbers so that at least you have that something that you are talking about. So you know what we are talking about, define the location now, right? Location could be either geographical, or location could be spheres of influence or spheres of calling. Just where you'll be able to, something that will make it measurable for you and attainable to you. Next point. since you need to find four people in a day, if you are smart, if I were you, if you are smart, what you do is that start with a team. It's a principle also. In anything you want to do, always build a team. And we saw that Jesus even did that. And he got 10 people, 12 people in his team. So you too. So what you should do is, like I said yesterday, go and resolve the problem. You already know the kind of category of people you want to minister to. If they are women, or if they are youth, or there's something, go and help that category of people. Help as many as you can. So let's say put a month to just you investing yourself to helping all these kind of people. And believe God at least for 4 people. If you believe God for 4 people, and you have to reach later on 4, and those 4 people become your disciples, and the 4 people become your team members, then you still need to be reaching 4 people a day. What do? Instruct 1 to reach 1. So another factor comes in. Before then, you didn't have the resource of team. Now, we are discovering that you have created for yourself another resource. Which the only resource you had before was you, your skills. And then the only other resource you had was time. So you use the resource you have, yourself and your time, and you created another resource, additional resource, which is team. And that team now has become a resource that you are now using to create the goal, to get to the goal that you want to get to. That's why those 4 people are now divided into 4 spheres. So you are now saying, okay, since we are reaching out to women, you are reaching out to women in dormitories. At least reach out to 1 every day. Of course, you will not reach out to 1. You will reach out to 4, 5, 6 or so. But at least 1 is recorded. And you are reaching out to women through social media. Social media, you will not reach out to 1. You will reach out to 1, but at least 1 is recorded. You know, you are reaching out to women in another location. You know, you have the locations. Find as many locations as you can. You can find 4 locations, then 1 will be responsible for 1 location. If you find 8 locations or 12 locations, then you can give everybody 3 locations each, 4 of them. So they have backup plans. They have 1 location, they get one location, they get another 1 location. So that way they have backup. So instead of getting 1, they're actually reaching 3 or 4. But at least they are recording that 1 at least will stay. That's not what we're saying. So those locations, they're getting 1 in every location, making 3 actually. I don't know if you are following me. Are you following me? Yes. Okay. Now, next one. Apart from building a team is very important. Don't trivialize that. In anything you do, even if you are going to be a Steve Jobs, he still has a whole company, not just a team, a whole company. And everybody needs a team. Next thing you need to do is what I already told you. Assign something to the team members. Assign a territory to the team members. You remember I told you just now? Yeah? Okay. But before you could assign the territory to them and the target to them and the task to them, make sure you have taught them at least. You know, give them the burden. Explain to them, teach them, and find time to them. Spend time with them. But who knows that, how many of you know that the same thing happens if it is, let's say this is not 1,000 we want to get. Let's say it's 10,000 people we are getting. You know the same principle works. You just take 10,000, divide it by that same 270, 1 year. So instead of 4 people, you get 40 people. Now, so how do you just follow the system? So 40 people is huge. How can you reach 40 people in a day? No problem. Just follow the system. You remember you need to have locations. So since you are having, let's say you have 10 locations, divide that 40 by 10, making you, so you need to have only how many people to reach how many people in a day? 4. You just need to reach 4 people in 10 locations. But how can you alone reach 10 4 people in 10 locations. It's difficult. Go and reach out to anybody in any team. Go and resolve their problems, anybody's problem. Get 10 people. Since you need to, so form a team of 10, not just 4, 10 people. Since you need to reach out to 10 locations, your team of 10 members comes back to the same thing. You divide again 10 locations by the 10 people you have, becoming 1 each. I don't know if you follow. So it's the same thing. So it doesn't matter. That's why I was trying to tell you yesterday. The same effort it will take you to reach one local problem to resolve, you can use it to resolve national problem. So it's just like saying, I will not do 1,000, for example. I will go ahead and do 10,000 immediately. That, think big, think global, think, or I will not even do 10,000, I'll do 1 million, for example. That's why you always dream big. It's the same, just use principle, use system. System doesn't care. If you can just sit down and build the system until it works, it doesn't really matter. Is it 1,000 you want to get, or 10, or 100,000, or 1 million? System beats anything. I don't know if you got it. That there is really no difference between 1,000 or 10,000. The system will just resolve everything for you. Sister Toyin, it's like you are cashing it. It's like you are cashing this thing. It's like you are really following this thing. Because I see so much satisfaction in her face. Okay, next one. To learn to. So you can build system for anything you want to do in life. But you must go and take the video of this or audio, listen to it as many times as possible. Next thing you do. So we are already here. Assign the thing to members. Make a schedule, but help your people out. Something you should know, the fact that you have distributed the spots to them, or the location to them, one person, one by, or with backup plans, the fact that you have done that doesn't mean that it will work. What is it that doesn't make other people, things to work? Listen closely. People don't do what they promise you that they're going to do. And people, you are like that too. You're not just people, you too are like that. People don't do what they promise to do. People don't even do what you tell them to do. You know what people do? What they know that you are going to control. No. People only do what you control. People only do what you monitor. When they know that you are going to ask, I don't want to be red. We black don't get red, right? I don't want to get blushed when pastor asks. So people only do what they know you control, you monitor. If they know you are going to monitor, you are going to ask them, have you done this thing today? You say you will do this morning. Even if they didn't do it, they will go and do it. So make sure that you put a system in place to help them have a schedule. So, for example, let's say somebody is supposed to be going to the dormitory. He said, I'm going to get 1 people a day in this dormitory. Somebody will just say, why should I be going there every day when I could just go one time a week and just... But you have to say, no, the schedule is like the system. System is not to neglect any little thing. System doesn't forgive you when you decide to jump the what? Jump the steps. You don't jump steps. When it comes to system, you must follow just blindly. You must just routinely follow the plans. So if you say you are going to be going to the dormitory to meet people every day, you have to do it every day. If we say you have to write out there that between 6 to 7, you have to go there 6 to 7. So what you do is that you have to plan everything out with people. And you have to say, how do we get to that dormitory? Go and get permission. Why should they get permission? We have to write out all the process in details. How will I get permission there? How will I get there? How will I attract people? What will I tell them? You have to work out everything like that. Only the things you've simplified to people to do, they will do. Only what you inspect, they do. Not what they promise you or what you tell them to do. Are you following me? So help them out with the daily schedule. So they just like a clock. You remember, you see the way clock works? Come, 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 come. Or wristwatch. Come. That's a system. The schedule. Tum, 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 tum. The way your heart works. The clock, the tum, tum, tum of the clock seconds, it was designed out of the way our heart functions. Yes. It's a duplicable, just like the heart function. That's our clock. Tum, tum. Okay, next point. Backup system. You remember what I just spoke about backup system here? That instead of that only one location to be meeting one place, you can either do backup by location, more locations, or you can do backup by, instead of him to reach out to one, let him reach out to 3. That's another backup. Or you can even have other people, new people that are coming to your team, give them the same assignment to just for backup. You understand? Or send them to the same similar place just for backup. So make sure anything you plan for, any task that you work, any system you work, any goal you put before yourself, if you don't have 3 backup systems, it's as good as you didn't do anything. It's as good as you didn't plan at all. So instead of you to just be satisfied by doing one plan without backup system, it's as good as you didn't do anything. Until you have 3 backup systems, you don't have plan. And you don't have system. Are you following me? Okay. Then, apart from the backup, look who came. Apart from the backup system, we are also supposed to have another thing, monitoring system. Monitoring system. You need to put monitoring system in place. You still need to monitor. Like I said, people don't do what they promise to do. And people don't do what they are supposed to do. People do what they are, not what they are asked to do. Huh? No, not what you tell them to do. What you monitor, or what you control. Yes. So there must be a mechanism. What do I mean by mechanism? For example, you have 10 members on your team. You know that on every Monday, this one is going there at 7 in the evening. You call him in the morning. Always monitor them by calling 3 times. You call in the morning. Hi, Andrew. You remember you're going out today to visit this boy? Oh, yeah, I know. Okay. Oh, 7 o'clock. I come back from work. I go. Okay. By 6:30. Hi, Andrew. How are you doing today? Oh, yeah. Don't just assume that people are responsible. It's the opposite. It's better for you to assume that people are not responsible. Then the 3rd time is when he finishes. Call him that after he's supposed to finish at 7 o'clock. You call him at 8 o'clock. Are you back? Call him to get report. So that is monitoring the system. And he has to write it, he has to write you. And you have to write it in your own note too, that you had control that is being done. So you have peace of mind. Then the next thing you want to do is that you put a, what do you call it? A roadmap. What do you call that? A checkpoint. Put checkpoints so that every month you know that our goal for the month was, if we say 3 per day, the month is 100 or whatever. And so did we achieve our weekly goal, monthly goal, and every month you see that if somebody has achieved his goal 3 months consecutively, give them a system give them some encouragement. What do you call it? System of incentive, reward and incentives. Yes, recognition and reward. But if for 3 months somebody else has defaulted, then instead of reward, it will be what? Penalty. You have to replace him. You have to say, okay, thank you, you are good, you try your best, and put another person that will be efficient there. Then finally, number 12, you want to have a system whereby you cement. You want to follow up on those people. You want to cement those new people that are coming. You want to make sure that you, every Saturday, for example, or every Sunday, you follow them up, and you want to cement your result. So people will not do what you expect, they do what you inspect. That's it. I put on the light and let me hear your feedback. Where is Sister Tony there? Yes.
Sorry, it's not like I don't want to break from the book. Where the position of, as I do hear people talking of,
Spiritual mapping? Forget about it. It's a lack of I research Sheni. It's lack of knowing what to do. That you don't do spiritual mapping. I research Sheni. This one a map. If you want map, this one the real map there. Tell him what is Aisha. He doesn't know.
It's lack of productivity. Well, lack of, not having
What is
something
it?
to do.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Lack of lack of activity, lack of not having something to do. I think so.
It's just because you don't have anything to do, so you are occupying yourself with something. Yeah, spiritual mapping is because there is nothing to do. Let's think of, let's just come up with something. That is what is a relationship is. So anybody telling you they are going to spiritual warfare to make church grow? A relationship. Now lack of job. No occupation. Spiritual mapping, all those things. Just laugh. This is the thing they are supposed to be doing, not be spiritual mapping. Okay, yes? Call question, you want to come? Where is Sister Tony there? She's gone. Anyway, anybody who wants to share?
You may have answered this already, but how do you build a team when you're working with a product and it's not necessarily people with a problem, but it's maybe people with a common goal? It's not like changing a
What you do is to cast vision before those people. Cast out the vision and let somebody say, you know what? He doesn't have any problem, but it's still problem. Like I said yesterday, people are looking for people to follow. And the reason why they will follow you is for them to know that you know where you are going. Paint a picture of the future. Paint a picture of tomorrow. What it's going to have as a result if he follows. If you observe, tell him that tomorrow, in 10 years' time, we are going to be selling this company for 100 times the price. And everybody is going to become a millionaire. Or we are going to be saving 1 million people. And give them perspective, what to live for, what to expect, what are the reward for them, what are the expectations for them in future. Build expectation and expectancy. Now, what did you people gain from today? Or you are still asking me questions? If you ask me questions, you can ask me questions, but I also want to hear what you're taking for yourself. What did this do to you, or what did this give you?
Because our time is fast spent, so we are going to go into our lunch immediately, but unfortunately, we are going to have just 20 minutes for the lunch. So you're going to eat like a soldier. We are supposed to have 2 workshops, and the time is far spent. So, yeah, beautiful. Can you get the message I sent you yesterday for the assignment? The one? Yeah. From your Skype. Then we are just going to read out that assignment. Then you go, just get my iPad. I think I have it there. So we are going to get the assignment down. Then we'll go to eat the lunch, and we should be back here seated by 4:30. So Pastor Bosse will be having us today. Okay. Yeah, beautiful. Harasha, sorry. So, and basically, what? Oh, okay. Не надо. Пожалуйста. Спасибо. Все закончила. Да, закончила.